Hey, put on your seatbelt. Let's go.
All right, turn up the music.
Can't wait for camp this summer. Will he be there? I wonder. I know I won't wanna go home. Never felt so good in my skin. In the heat we're feeling something. I know we won't wanna go home. There's a killer on the loose. Look out, he's right behind you. He won't give me the axe. I'm scared, but I'm fighting back. We are the Scream Queens, running through the night. We are the Scream Queens, gonna put up a fight, make everything alright.
Welcome to Scream Queens Road Trip Podcast. That extra shrill noise just came from your final girl, Miss Justine.
That bitch to my left is your soul survivor, Mr. Josh. And that amazing intro song that you just had the privilege to hear are Bad Athlete and Scream Queens.
Yes, love our new intro theme song.
I am our theme song.
Yeah.
We are the Scream Queens.
I am too then.
Yes.
So
Live
here,
into your truth.
yeah, happy episode 73, Miss Justine.
Yes, it's 7 Trace. I'm so excited about it. We are currently in my sound booth.
Yes,
I
I'm
believe
driving.
they say that in French.
Yeah, I'm driving Justine's sound booth today.
Yes.
It's-
Josh always drives. If you didn't know this, guys, Josh always drives because he's controlling. And I'm here right now asking for help. No, I'm kidding.
I
guys.
like to
You
say
just-
all my negative traits come from my sign being a Virgo, because you know
Yes.
you can blame.
Oh, he'll horoscope
everything
blame
on your horoscope.
Everything.
Just kidding.
Anything that is. He's a sightseeing. Let's just put it out there. You're a sightseeing driver.
Yeah. We just get along better if I'm driving.
There's a lot less passive aggressive, like motions, exasperations that happen when Josh is driving.
Yeah, God, you just really are making me out to seem like such a great friend.
You are the best queen that, because I don't have any money, so not that money can buy, but that friendship can buy over time.
Oh, thanks. Well, we are heading down to Beaver's Bend, Broken Bow
Well,
area.
yeah, like we're heading down to Broken Bow. Beaver's Bend is the state park.
Yes.
We are going to be up in that, like in the bend. We're going to be in the bend.
We'll be in the bend. But
crevice.
The main thing is we are going to our cabin in the woods.
Oh yeah, Ho Chi Town, here we come. We are just merely rolling along.
And guys, we're out of Evil Dead movies, so we're moving on to another franchise, Cabin Fever.
Yes, there's like 3 installments.
Yeah, and then there's the
so
remake.
Yes, and then there is a remake, as
And-
they say in French.
You know, we'll get into it. We'll see these are, if they're incredible films or not, and worthy of our time of covering for the next few years.
I
for
like
our
that
cabin.
word incredible is really just kind of.
Okay, we'll start from the beginning. It's not incredible, but we'll get into the movie. It's not to say it's not fun or
Yeah.
there's no merit to it.
No.
It's is it
Up for interpretation.
Yeah, and we're speaking of the 2002 Eli Roth opus.
film debut, as they say in
It was
French.
his debut of horror
The French debut.
icon Eli Roth. Love him or hate him, he's done a lot for the genre.
Yes.
In the last 15, 20 years. I guess 20.
20, 'cause,
2002.
yeah,
God
yeah.
damn,
we're old.
time is flying.
Yeah,
can't
so
believe
however you feel about Eli Roth, put it in our comments. We're excited to hear what you have to say also about cabin fever.
Very problematic 2002 Eli Roth
Yes,
film,
like-
Cabin Fever.
It's just, there's obviously some things that we as a human peoples
The
are
movie's
better at.
very dated, and I'm not even dated. Like even 20 years ago, we knew
That's
being
not
racist,
okay, yeah.
homophobic, or was it body ableist or
Yes.
ableist?
Just
Weren't
like
good.
when we're
Some of the things that come out of
slapping-
these people's mouths is like, it's just like, oh yeah, we've come far in 20 years. But anyways,
There's just a lot of growth that we have had. Even, like the horror genre, we're just better people. Okay.
I really
keep
hope when
going.
we get down here that we don't catch any kind of skin-eating disease like
Ugh.
what happens in this film.
In the film.
In
Yes.
the film.
There is a virus skin flesh-eating disease, and our group of friends are in for it when they just head for the week to the cabin. You can't fault them. Here we are. We're also on our 3-night overnight to the cabin, and if I got a flesh-eating virus, I would be devastated.
I would be devastated. It would really put a kink into our trip, you know?
The full beat that I am currently rocking on some infected flesh just wouldn't look the same.
It would just be a waste of your time.
It
wouldn't
would. I am not up for an audition for Walking Dead. So again,
all that effort for my cheeks to
For
fall off my
nothing.
face.
I'm
you know,
contouring.
or
I
off
don't
your
really
ass.
want it to hollow out. Okay, it's all an illusion.
Yeah.
It's an illusion. But
Lord of Illusion.
we've done that movie. We've got Eli Roth, his feature debut. Great. Now let's
And
move
also
on.
his screen debut.
It is his
We'll get there.
double. We get a double debut. He plays two characters in this movie. Let's talk about Mr. Ryder Strong. Best friend Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Here he is. He's trying to keep a career, get
And
into some films.
Topanga is nowhere to be found. Okay?
She's not there. We don't have what's his face. Why can't I remember other than Topanga? How come I can't remember their names?
There was an Eric, right? Wasn't that the brother's name?
Yes. Was there a Will?
Will.
What was going on?
Will I am.
Yeah, and what was the name, or not neighbor, but the teacher?
Sweeney.
Yes, Professor Sweeney. He was amazing.
Yeah, but the boring savage.
Yeah, the
kid.
boring
I can't even
savage.
remember his
What's
name.
funny is I just saw something the other day about Boy Meets World, and it was when Fred Savage was on playing a gross.
Was it Ben Savage? Is
Ben
that-
Savage? Yeah, is
Yeah.
the one that's in Boy Meets World.
Yeah, that
And then-
loves to ping. Let's get off this Boy Meets World trip.
Yeah,
Anyway.
what are we even talking about?
No.
Yeah,
This
Ryder
movie-
Strong being in Boy Meets World. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's just some names that. Jordan Ladd. She would later be in Death Proof, and before this, she was in Never Been Kissed. She plays Karen, and then there is Serena Vincent. She plays Marcy.
Marcy, and then there's a Jeff.
Yes, yeah, and Jeff is Joey Kern, and Bert, James DeBello. So there's your 5 central characters.
Yep, there they are,
for-
and they're awful human beings, all of them, pretty much.
Yeah, no one's really making really sound choices. It's falling into those tropes for sure.
Yeah, and when we first see them, they're all in a Jeep heading to the cabin. There's a really earnest 2002 song playing.
Yeah, but hold on, that's not the opening of the movie. So the
Oh,
opening
yeah.
of the movie
First
is,
time we see those characters,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
in the van.
they're in that van.
Or
But
the Jeep.
let's just go ahead and we'll open the movie because
Oh,
it does
you-
happen
you
very
open
quickly.
it on up.
Wow, Josh, sit back in your chair. He's trying to open his butt cheeks up, guys. Gosh, you say open up,
did want
and
me to
it's
open
it's
that
an
up?
invitation for him.
Well, here, give me the wheel back.
We're doing all kind of driving stunts, and you guys are none the wiser.
I had my cheeks out and my whole exposed.
out, and then you said a hole. Okay.
Anyways.
Let's open the movie. We're in like the woods of North Carolina. We've got just some. Oh well. Right now we've got a big dick energy truck going by.
No, that was small dick energy truck.
Oh yeah, small dick energy truck going by, heading somewhere to get to their ugly spouse. Anyways, golly, he just like vroomed on by.
He nearly killed us. We were almost killed.
Dick energy.
But yeah, you're right. When the movie first starts, we see a man wandering around like a homeless man.
Yeah, he's in like the woods of North Carolina, and yeah, he's just kind of like rattling off. You can tell he might mentally not be there.
He's got some kind of dead animal already in his hand.
Yes, and then he comes upon what is very clearly, guys,
a dead
dog.
And is it his dog? That's kind of unclear because it's right outside like a camp.
He has like a name for it, and so I swear it's his dog. If not, he knows of that dog and knows that dogs are very alert, and if you approached it, it would just definitely move.
Right.
But no,
this dog is dead.
This dog is dead, but he's like talking to it and like dangling the squirrel or whatever, this little meat that it's got.
The animal kill count, we're already at 2, and we're like
it's opening
2
scene.
minutes in.
Yeah, it's opening scene, and here it is. Dead dog meets dead squirrel meets obviously like something's going on in his head.
So this guy's really confused about the dead dog. He's like, huh? It looks really dead. He's not breathing. I'm gonna
move its face around.
Move its face and then lift its legs up so I can get squirted in the face by a bunch of like bloody goo.
Yeah, I guess something. Yeah, squirt. I don't know.
And that squirt goes into a transition. It's our transition to the next scene. It goes squirt to girl screaming.
Yeah, to girl screaming out of truck.
To a little kid about how she hates college.
Yeah, she's just like, don't do it, it's a scam. And I'm sorry, but if I was that child, I would only be I would be afraid. It's my immediate safety.
No, I'd be like, no ma'am, you're the reason why I need to go to college.
Yeah.
But she's like, fuck, finals are over.
Yay, no more exams. Yes, woo, titties, yay.
And I'm really trying to figure out what time of year this is set, because she's talking about finals being over. So I'm like, okay, it's either like December or May, June-ish, right?
Yeah, but there's the trees are very bare. There's no leaves on them, so
it must
to me
be the
it's
December,
And I get so no more of that. But it's also no snow on the ground, so fall. I don't know. Maybe it's midterms. Who knows?
They don't really try to make it look cold either. Like no one's bundling up.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be
North
Carolina in thickets and stuff of the forests. But yeah, none of them. I guess they're wearing light jackets in the evening time when
someone has a jean jacket on.
Yeah, but this is when you know you're in your mid to late 30s when you're.
Where is your coat?
What layers do they not have on right now? This is irresponsible.
You're at a bonfire without a hoodie.
This is just... please realize where you are. Do you not have a weather app on your phone? No, it's 2002? Okay. Anyways, so... Yeah, there's just a group of friends that are in a truck and heading on a road trip to a cabin. And we meet all of our characters. And Ryder Strong, who plays Paul, is in the backseat. Kind of, he's sandwiched in between Bert and Karen, and there's an obvious look he gives to her, signaling to all of us that he's really into her.
Yeah, because he's looking at the front where Cheryl and Jeff are
Marcy.
What I call Cheryl. Where Marcy and Jeff are tickling each other's fancies, and by fancies I mean cooters, and
genitals.
balls.
She's full on trying to give him I don't know, a chubbies.
And he's looking up there at them. He's like, damn it, I wish I had a chubby.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks over at Karen and she's laying her head on his shoulder. Honestly, when I first saw this, I thought they were a couple.
I did too.
They kind of set it up that way. It's almost a little confusing if you're dumb like me.
Or if you just but I also immediately, since we find out that, very quickly we find out they're not a couple, that I'm okay, well, there's a lot of big signals going on here. There's some messages that are...
And the music that's playing is this really, like I said, really earnest, 2002 singer-songwriter music. It's all at once, baby.
Laying your head on my shoulder. Like, very
Like,
just
yeah,
like, were
it's
they
of the
watching
time.
the film and just trying to, like, sing what was happening in the moment? If you, like, watch the movie with the descriptions, with the captions on, the lyrics and, like, the words that are happening sometimes coincide a little bit, or
Yeah.
at least the message is the same.
Well, and the
even if
music's
it's
all
not.
over the place too, because then
Yeah.
later they use a few songs from Last House on the Left.
Yeah.
So tonally, the music's just all over the place, which, I mean, I guess works if your soundtrack is a little dynamic with all kinds of music, but it's like this one song and then music from Last House on the Left.
I think for Eli, it was like, and he does this in the film. Eli Roth puts some, like, little tip of the hat moments, some homages to other films that he obviously, like,
Tip of the
took-
what?
Tip of the hat,
Oh.
tip of the dick, tip of the dick.
Just the tip.
Or, like, just some shots that happen that you're like, oh, okay, well, he's obviously, like, showing his love for this movie. He does it with,
Right.
like, Texas Chainsaw
No, I mean, it
Massacre.
makes sense why he's
but,
using Last
yeah.
House on. It's just kind of funny how it's this one
It
song
might
that's
not
like
fit.
original to the soundtrack, and yeah, it just doesn't
Yeah.
really fit.
Might
It's
not
kinda
necessarily
funny.
fit. So they're making their way, and they stop off very close to their cabin, but, like, at the general store that's in town, and it's a general store of its time.
Oh,
so.
and there's the best part of this movie is the little boy Dennis sitting outside.
Okay, let's
He is a
paint
star.
paint the
Dennis
scene.
is a star.
Paint the
All right, so
scene
they-
for Dennis.
So they all jump out of the car, and there's a little boy with the worst mullet and like bowl front cut that
It
you've
is
ever seen.
full on, not a mullet,
Like
Josh.
platinum blonde.
It is. This is a feminine wig with the bangs long, like, to
Almost
your
like
shoulders,
Courtney
like,
Cox Scream 3
yes,
bangs.
like, this is a hot wig mess.
Oh, yeah.
No one should be wearing this. This should be in the dumpster, not on the
Well,
top
you know
of
what,
this kid's head.
Justine? This kid was in an unfortunate circumstance. Maybe it's the only wig they could afford.
Maybe.
But
I'm going to make a judgment right here and say,
anyways,
I think that kid has hair underneath his head.
he looks like he's straight out of Deliverance. So Ryder
Yes.
Strong is like, I'm gonna go sit next to him and make fun of him. All these characters are so unsympathetic in this movie. Like,
Yeah,
they're all
immediately.
assholes. Except for, like, there's times when I feel like maybe Macy
has some.
is her name. Like,
Yeah, she's got some empathetic moments.
yeah,
and
but other
stuff,
than that, these people are just jerks.
yeah, a lot of the time, what they say is kind of not very forgiving, or the actions, and then might I say, some of the shots. So, like, this shot that you're talking about, where Ryder and Dennis are sitting on that, like, porch
Uh-huh.
swing, like, it's just not very, it's not subtle. You get, like, full package of, like, everything going on.
Yeah.
You can see up their noses, basically. Like,
It's an odd.
there's some
Odd
just
choice.
odd camera choices that are happening in
Well,
this.
And so he's making fun of Dennis, and Dennis, like, grabs him and bites his hand.
well, he's like, put her there. Like, he
Yeah,
sits
put her
down
there,
like he wants to be
champ.
buddies, but it's
Yeah.
obvious. It's a mock, like, he doesn't really want to. He's just trying to, like,
Be a
rub it
dick,
into this
yeah.
kid that he doesn't have any friends. And he just, like, plops down, like, put her there, guy. And the kid is defensive and bites his hand. And then the dad pops out.
Dennis's dad, I guess, he's like,
Who's
what'd
like,
you give to
maybe-
him? Everyone knows not to sit next to Dennis.
And they're like, well, you should have put a sign there. And I guess if you're in, like, a really small town where you don't have to worry about visitors, then you wouldn't. But I kind of agree. If you're going to have Dennis over here on the porch swing and you've got a lot of
Yeah.
cabins that people visit,
Well,
maybe you need to remind outsiders that Dennis doesn't need to be messed with.
Well, later on in the movie, when you see Dennis again, there is a sign
Yes.
behind him that
They
says,
do
"Don't
take a
sit
note.
next to Dennis."
Yeah, they do take a
That's
note.
kind of funny. But yeah, anyway, so he bites Dennis, and the dad comes out, and he's like, you shouldn't have sat next to him. Everybody knows that. You can go behind the store. There's a stream where
Yeah,
you
they're
can
setting it up.
wash your hands. Like, I'd be like, okay, you have a whole story here. You really don't have a bathroom or a sink I can use?
No, they really have to make sure that you know that there is a stream in the back and that this stream is kind of the life-giving resource for the whole town.
Yeah, this town.
What's funny is this sets up Cabin Fever 2 more than, anything else. But, I mean, there's good reason that it is said, because it's going to eventually be more than just one cabin that is infected.
Like you said, there's this huge body of water. We see it. There's a big lake.
Yeah.
And apparently, though, there's only one cabin. Because they even say, like, there's a character later, they'll say, like, they're at the cabin.
Yes.
I'm like, what? This whole, like, lake town only has one cabin?
And he meant there's a police officer, a sheriff, a deputy, whatever, a legal judicial representative. And he says, like, party town, like, basically the town over. And you're like, oh, but I thought this was the town that had, like, the lake and the cabin.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The nightlife is
more
one town over.
Is one town over. Well, so at the store, they're inside, and this is where just some not very nice and uncolorful language is spoken by a character that at first you're kind of, like, giggling at.
Well, they're walking around. This guy is selling, like, I mean, he's a big hillbilly. I guess he's the grandpa. And they're selling all kinds of antiques and stuff. And he's telling some funny stories. And, there's items on the shelf that they're asking about. And then there's a big gun. And they're like, what's that for? And he's like, that's for, and I'm not even going to go close to what he said. But just know he says.
It's derogatory.
Oh, it's
racist.
It's like
it's the worst thing.
It's the worst racist thing you could say.
Yeah.
And all the characters look shocked, at least.
Mm-hmm.
At least it didn't, like... And I mean, it's supposed to be shocking, but it's still like, okay, you could have shocked us with something.
I guess I just don't understand why it's in there.
Yeah, because they tried to bring it full circle at the end. We'll get there as like a joke, like a misunderstanding. But I'm like, no, I clearly heard how you said things.
You said it. So
they're all shocked and they leave. Mm-hmm. And one of the kids in the group
does say,
repeats it. Like, did he just say that? And one of the girls, Marcy, this is what I was talking about, she had to kind of school him. She's like, yeah, but you don't say that. You say the N-word. Mm-hmm. So she's like, at least gets onto him for repeating it. But again, why was it even in this movie?
It just doesn't,
even in 2002.
It doesn't make any sense. This isn't a movie.
It's not making a point.
Yes.
It's not really even setting that character up to be a bad guy or anything. I could understand if maybe this character that's saying it is supposed to be like pure evil. But it's almost just like, yeah, it's strange. It's really strange.
Yeah.
And that's just like the beginning.
Yeah, we're only like maybe not even 15 minutes into the movie, but so they pick up their goodies at the general store and leave to go to the cabin, and our next scene is all of them checking in.
And getting to the cabin, and they're so excited. Mm-hmm. Jeff and Marcy decide to fuck right then and there. Mm-hmm. And they have the weirdest, floppy sex too. Like, they're literally just kind of like...
Josh, are you sex shaming them? Actual physical sex act shaming?
Not if they actually enjoyed it, but I don't think they did.
They were flopping like two fish out of water on top of each other.
It's so weird. All the simulated sex in this movie is really awful. Like, really
I want to know if any of them have actually had sex. Like, it didn't look like anybody... And imagine there's so many people actually standing there while you're shooting this, like, sex scene. Does everybody not have an idea of, just how it should
make
look?
This look better.
This could definitely look better.
But Ryder Strong breaks it up for a second. He's like, oh, guys, we're all going to go swimming. Be safe. Wear protection. It's like if they only knew
what
was going to happen. Bert's out there shooting squirrels, and he's shooting them, he says, because squirrels are gay. And then that's...
No, and
here
that's
we keep going.
Yeah, and that's...
Not the only time they say, like, that's gay, you're gay. That gets thrown around a lot.
Almost every character except for, like, Marcy, I think, says.
Ryder Strong.
Or maybe I'm trying to think. No, maybe Ryder Strong's the only one.
One of the girls does say, one of the girls says it to him.
Yes.
Yeah, so Ryder Strong and Karen are out, like, laying out. And he kind of...
They're like as they're like even walking, like they're building up for this like idea that he's gonna like ask her out, and she's or it just looks to me, maybe that's how I'm interpreting it. Maybe you're going to have a different interpretation, but like the whole time they're even heading to the dock that they're going to lay on, she's like, to me, giving this like idea of like, no, don't, like, I'm not really into you.
He keeps telling a story of like, or keeps saying like, we know each other for a long time, Karen, and I've always wondered. And then she's like, let's go tan.
Yeah,
let's
do
lay
this.
out. Let's go to the, she's not having it. But then when they're laying out, she's like, you know what? I've always wanted to like kiss somebody that I've known for a long time. And then they start making out. And then,
for like 2 seconds, and it's like she just kind of, and I don't want to say like she's a tease, but I'm just, how I'm, like, she does like kiss him, kind of asks like for the kiss, and then rolls away like into the water, and he's confused by it.
And then he says, I thought we were making out, and she says, don't be gay.
Well, no, he says like, we were kissing, like, do you like me? And she says it after that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't really understand.
Oh,
like,
that's gay.
How wouldn't
that be heterosexual?
Yeah, like, I don't get it. How can he be...
Well, that was in that era of when, gay
it's like if you
bad.
showed, or if you showed any kind of, like, feeling that was, like, a non-masculine, I don't know.
Well, no, it wasn't even that. It's just people threw that word around as, like stupid.
Yeah.
Or, like, So, that's where that is coming from.
Don't be... anything.
We're all ignorant.
Yeah.
Okay?
We're just flopping around like fish out of water.
So
on
they're
top
done
of
making
each
out
genitals.
at this point. Genitals in, tongues back in their mouths. Now
Everybody's not fucking or sucking anymore.
And Justine really has like a thing for Ryder Strong's nipples in this movie.
Stop, because I'm not gonna obviously body shame like on here.
Well,
no,
I like his nipples. She doesn't.
We're not like
we're not going there.
Not gonna.
No, we're not commenting
this.
on anybody's bodies.
No.
Everybody's bodies are different and wonderful.
I just
sure we all have
moment.
preferences and things we like.
I just had a moment when I was viewing them that I just was like, wow, there's nipples. Like, obvious nipples are on the screen.
She thought they were hairy and large.
Stop!
I'm kidding. Anyways, moving on. His nipples are back in his shirt now, I think.
Yes, they are, and they shouldn't come out anymore. He knows what's good for him.
We love you, Ryder Strong.
No,
you have a fun, book
terrible.
podcast that I listened to a couple times.
He's super
He likes
cute.
books. He likes books.
He's super cute. I would suck on those nipples. Okay, can we keep going?
Yeah, please.
So, can we also touch on one thing?
Let's
that
touch on
we
all
didn't?
things.
Okay, because I want to touch on
Touch it, Justine.
Jeff's like of having fingers in his, like, if we're gonna go.
Oh, we gotta go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this during that sex scene we were just talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, they're doing it, and then she's like rolls him over.
Marcy rolls Jeff over.
Yeah, she.
After they flopped around like fish.
Like fish. Now she knows what she wants.
Mm-hmm. And she knows what he wants.
And I think this is why they were having such awkward sex. So she gets on his back and she shoves her finger up his asshole.
Like, just my immediate thought is, where's the lube?
Yeah, and if she had her nails done,
yes.
ouch.
Unless, Josh, do you think she put just knuckles in?
She was just hey, maybe she was like
knuckle fucking?
Or it was all, maybe she fisted him.
Oh, I never even thought that. But again, where's the lube?
Anyways,
where
all
is
of
it?
this required lube, and she didn't even. I mean, at least some spit. And you don't even get that.
No, you don't hear it. Nothing. There's no indication that there's any kind of moisture.
Maybe he was a little swamp assy.
Do you think?
But then that's just fucking gross.
Yeah, because then why are you down there?
Yeah,
And
I mean, again, unless they liked it,
and was like, swamp fist.
Swamp
I'm ready to make my Swamp Thing movie.
Okay, we getting gross.
Okay,
but yeah,
so weird sexual things are happening, and not weird sex. That's weird.
Just strange that it's in the movie.
Just in the movie. Yeah.
But you know what? We need more fingering representation.
No, I'm for it.
We were caught off guard.
I guess I was surprised.
I would think Bert would like that more than Jeff in this movie. if someone was gonna enjoy a finger up their ass.
Yeah, and maybe it's that we don't see it. It's because Bert only likes his fingers up his ass.
That could be it. He does talk about a dog licking his balls or something.
Yeah. Okay, that's just like again,
fucking
like
gross.
what? That's
There's just
we
a
thought,
lot of weird little things.
We thought that
like
was
that.
funny. Like I'm sorry,
He's like,
but
oh, one time I came so hard when my dog was licking my balls. I'm like, that's called bestiality, sir.
Eli Roth, really? Like that was funny? Because to me, I'm like, the only reason why you would put that in there is either because you want me to think that this guy is a complete, like, gross
Yeah.
douchebag. Or,
Well, and I think that's the point. He is a gross douchebag. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he's always being represented
well,
that
no,
way in this
I was
movie.
about to go with, or you were living out, like, a fantasy of sorts by having
Yeah.
a character who had
Oh,
ball lickage
yeah.
from dogs.
He's like, and I had to go there as a writer
And
and,
I
try
had-
this out.
Because
To
I'm
see.
feeling out if this is something that I want future characters. Is this a thread that I want in all of my movies?
I guess
Turns
he
out
decided
no.
no.
Yeah,
No,
like turns
there's
out
no more
no.
dogs licking
Because it was
balls.
just this, but
It's disgusting.
God, what
Eli,
are we even fucking talking about?
I don't know.
Okay.
We are.
Let's get to Bert shooting squirrels
Yeah, so
and
after-
eventually shooting someone.
So after Ryder Strong gets rejected, we cut to Bert, and he's, you know, shooting those gay squirrels, but he actually says, oh, I don't care if they're gay or straight, I'm just going to shoot squirrels. So I guess he's not a homophobe.
I mean, he said it, so he's a homophobe, but then he's like, decides that he also, like, he does not like gay squirrels, but then he also decides he just doesn't even like.
No, I bet he's one of those guys that's like, I don't care if that squirrel's gay, as long as he's not kissing other gay squirrels in front of me and keeps whatever he does in his tree. You know?
He's like a little nook in
His
the
little
tree.
nook in the tree.
And then you look in and
I don't care what
is
other
having a
squirrels do in their
loving
nook, but when you do that in
marriage
public, like that's what he's saying. But anyways, Bert ends
Yeah.
up shooting the homeless guy that we saw from earlier, right? Or does he shoot next to him? It's never really clear if he actually shoots
he
him.
shoots him in the legs,
That's
and
right.
it's like I don't know what is, but like then the guy kind of falls off in this like ravine area.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're driving by the family, guys!
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the cult.
I think we talk about it every time.
Yes, but we're here.
Passing by the family cult.
Oh, and there's the big house back there. That's where like most of their members live and stuff. And there's
One day
like,
we'll join,
some
guys, just to tell you guys
house
about
back
it.
there. But like yes, like, and we. I don't. One
Google
day
it, the
we're gonna,
family,
the family
Oklahoma.
cult. But one day we'll figure out. But here's the thing: it's like okay, so we go and what do we do?
Just
Yeah,
look
like
at it. We drive by it all the time.
yeah, and that's not enough. You can't just be like, well, we drove by a cult. Like we need to, I guess, immerse ourselves in the cult
For months.
yeah, until we are gone, and you guys are like, what happened?
And you guys
then
have to come rescue us.
Would they find like this lost cassette? Well, this isn't a cassette. You find the little mic, the thing we record on, and then
Yeah.
they listen to it, and it's our first part before we, went
Yeah,
into the
and you
cult,
guys-
and we're
Wow.
whoa.
Thanks for saving us in the future from the cult, guys.
Yeah, and you guys come
Anyways.
and you save us, but it's years later, and we're now the cult leaders, so you have to like remind us about what
you were.
we
You're like,
all,
"Josh,
yeah, like
You're the
originally.
Scream Queens. Final girl.
Do you remember
Soul
this?
Survivor.
You guys like play our intro song, and it just kind of like hits in our
Purposely
heads. like-
misspelled Soul Survivor with a UL. That's you. Oh.
You're the soul survivor.
It's punny,
his
right?
soul, yeah, right. You get it?
Because
no?
it's horror, so it's
Oh,
like your
it's-
human soul.
It's your.
It's existential.
It's not like the movie Disney movie Soul. No. Okay.
Anyways.
Let's go. So Bert shoots somebody, and it's that wandering guy, but he is not looking good. And Bert kind of shoots him because, well, he scares him just by showing up, like he's just taken by surprise.
Yeah.
But then he keeps trying to approach him, and it's very obvious he has a lot of skin lesions, and he is bleeding.
Well, and Bert also doesn't want to take any kind of accountability for it. He's just still like, yeah, I'll get you help, but
yeah,
let
and
me
the
go.
guy's like, "Is that your cabin?"
And he's like, no, we're not staying there. The one cabin, no.
Yeah,
I don't know where else we'd be staying.
I don't
since there's just
know.
one cabin, but
We
no,
just have
that's
this
not
one.
where we are.
We're not there. Yeah, so he shows up.
I gotta go get a finger in my ass. I'll be back.
He falls in that little ravine thing, and then Bert runs off, and
He runs
but
into.
when he does show up, it's like he acts like nothing happened. He just like kind of nonchalantly walks up. He's smoking a cigarette, and they're all upset with him because he did like leave to go shoot squirrels, and he had set a campfire like to start burning. And I guess
you left it unattended, you jerk.
Yeah, so
When are you gonna stop fucking up? Like, they were
Mercy
really pissed about
and
it.
Jeff are like, we were fucking, and then you were like, fucking up, and I was like, fuck.
I was up to 4 fingers.
I seriously had been fisting him for 5 whole minutes, and you ruined it for him.
I was just about to hit the perfect spot in his prostate.
It was it. Like, he was there. And she's like smelling her hand the whole time. Oh,
And then she offers a smell to Bert.
Okay, so cut to, it's now nighttime and there is a campfire. Bert said nothing about the guy in the forest, okay? Nothing. He doesn't act, doesn't say, he doesn't even look like he's affected by what just happened in the forest, which was he shot someone!
And he's just like, yeah, I was just shooting. I'm sorry. Fuck. Ugh.
And they're
That's
all
kind of
having
Bert's
a little,
character.
yeah, like they're all having
Ugh.
like a little campfire, just drinking. And Paul, Ryder Strong's character, tells them this scary story about this time where I guess it's like his dad was recounting how there was these big murders that had happened at the bowling alley.
Yeah,
and
they're telling campfire tales, basically.
this story doesn't really like come to anything. Like,
Yeah, it's basically like
no reason.
friends that had to watch each other get bludgeoned to death in a bowling alley, and then their parts were used to bowl with.
And it's like there's inserted like shots of like a recreation of what had happened.
Yeah.
And Eli Roth has another cameo where he plays like a character
Yeah.
who gets his head like
It's like, I
decapitated.
almost would like to see this movie better. Like, and I know there are movies like Campfire Tales and stuff like that where it is, vignettes and of different horror stories, like, an anthology, but I love that kind of shit. I love stories around the campfire. I mean, I grew up on Are You Afraid of the Dark, so.
What's funny is like I would love for there to be something like that where it's like these friends, this journey out there, we get to know them a little bit, and then it's actually, they're there to tell like stories around the campfire, and then to wrap up the movie, it's like they're like the end of the night, like what happens with them.
Yeah.
It's like, Are You Afraid of the Dark,
Yeah,
but
it's
on
kind of
like
like the book.
steroids.
Yeah,
like
the framing device of the anthology
like
would be.
we get our
People's
final
Own Story.
scares then.
God, we're giving away all our ideas.
Oh my gosh, yeah, but we'll know. We'll know that if you come up with that we came up with it first.
And we have no money to sue you, but
No.
we'll do it.
No, but you took our creative
Someone
idea.
will represent us pro bono, just because we're
Boner?
cool. Pro boner.
Pro boner, because I'm pro boner, you're pro boner.
Everybody should be pro boner.
We can all be pro boner. Okay, yeah. So there's this like scary story that he tells around the campfire, and it all just like sets them up to be scared because then the next thing that happens is there is another camper that
Grim.
walks out. His name is Grim.
Oh my god, this is the most irritating.
Yes.
I don't even understand what Eli Roth is doing. Okay, the character Grim that just shows up out of the woods with his dog on a leash.
Dr. Mambo, the
Dr.
dog.
Mambo.
Faced.
Yeah.
He's such a douchebag, bro, and I
Like-
get it. Like that's the point.
Well,
he's trying to be a
He's also using slang no one even used 20 years ago.
faced.
Like, yeah, you've been faced.
Well, I kind of thought maybe he was trying to do like a Gretchen Wiener and like try to make it happen, like faced fetch.
Because he uses a few things like Mondo, or like, not even Mondo, he says something else. But yeah, he says like, this is my dog, Dr.
Dr. Mambo.
And then one of the girls is like, oh, like a doctor, like a physician, or what did she say, physician or something else?
Yeah, like a doctor.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, like
A doctor of dogs, face.
And he like takes his hand and like scratches over his face, like faced.
Yeah, I'm like, no one's ever faced. What the fuck
What
is
the
that?
fuck is that? But just like most people would do when they encounter like a strange person who's just trying to really like fit in but is doing a poor job at it, but they brought weed.
Yeah,
So
they're like,
you're
okay,
like,
stay.
Okay.
First
wanna
they tell
hang
him
out?
like, we're trying to talk privately. He's like, okay, I guess I'll smoke this huge bag of weed
Yeah.
by myself. I'm like, well, that's gonna take you a while.
Like how long are you out here at the campsite?
That's
'Cause
quite the large
that's
bag. That's
yeah.
like a few ounces you have on
Just
you.
by yourself. What are you doing out here, Grim? But he's there for like a hot second. He basically smokes him out, and then it starts to
Leaves.
rain, and he leaves. And he just kind of basically setting up the like idea that there's another camper out there, and when
has a dog.
when shit starts hitting the fan, we might want to worry like, where's that guy? I guess like I still don't like
Yeah,
care too much.
He's,
That this,
again, another terrible character. Like
Yeah.
someone you just hate from the get-go. Which is maybe the point. Maybe the fun thing of this movie is watching all these terrible people like go down one by a disease.
Yes, yeah, you're not really rooting for anybody or
Not at
to
all.
make it through because no one to like they're not redeemable. Nobody does anything redeeming. I mean, we'll get to like the thing that like after this happened, I was like, fuck everyone. Is when they put the friend in the shed.
Yeah.
Like
Which,
really,
yeah.
I get that like they have to be like sequestered and off on their own, but really you put her in the shed and you lock the doors, you lock her in there.
Mhm. So they go
And
back in after they meet Grim and it's raining,
Yes.
and there's a knock at the cabin door. They're still drinking. That Bert decides he's going to drink nothing but beer the rest of this trip,
Yes.
which is ridiculous. I'm like,
But-
okay, you're going to be very dehydrated, sir.
But it's also like they're not drinking the water, which is like one of the reasons why one of the characters immediately gets sick is because all the other characters are like in on the whole we're only drinking beer.
Yeah.
And she drinks the water and thus she gets infected
Starts
first.
getting
So
sick.
yeah, so
But
there's
they
a
get-
knock on the door and it is the guy from the woods.
Oh, he made his way up to that cabin, and they are not
Only
nice to him.
cabin.
They don't let him in. One, he's a scary sight.
Yeah, he's bleeding now he's like his clothes are saturated
Yeah.
in his own blood.
His face is covered in blood.
Yeah, and his face has like kind of like sagging skin. Like you can tell that like gravity and the fact that it's like a flesh-eating disease is really working on him. Yeah, they're not gonna let him in. And when he is standing there for a moment, he acknowledges Bert. He's like, "Hey, you're the guy that left me
Yeah.
out there." And so then they're like, "What the fuck, Bert?" And he's all like, "What? Like,
I didn't know.
I
Come
didn't.
back
I
up
mean,
here.
like, yeah, I shot him, but like, what? Like, you guys can't hate me. I don't know. He never has a good reason for why he does stuff, but then people just kind of like leave him alone. And
Yeah, and then it's like one thing happens after another, and he ends up on fire.
yes, there is this whole basically like sad kind of like torture scene in a way where the guy wants to get out of there, tries to get in their truck. He does. Then they get out there. They have like a bat. Somebody has like a torch, a makeshift torch. They have a rifle now because they went shooting squirrels, and they bust up their own truck while they're trying to
Yeah.
get that guy out of the truck, and he is like projectile bleeding like
All
profusely.
over it.
Like he's spraying coffee blood all over the windows. It's a lot. Like there's so much blood in the movie used. It's pretty bloody gory movie.
It's bloody gory.
So they kill the guy, and he wanders off and basically passes out into a stream. He's been lit on
Yes.
fire.
So he's going to further contaminate their drinking supply.
Yeah, what they don't know, but what we quickly learn by seeing him in the stream is that there's like a pipe and it feeds directly into their water supply for their cabin. And Karen's the first one who falls victim to it.
Yeah, and is it that evening she starts saying, like, I don't feel so good? And
Yeah.
she's going to go take a nap.
And there's a lot of her laying in bed for the next like day, and the other characters go off to find help and clean up the truck.
Yeah, there's a
and-
weird encounter with a lady cutting up a pig. Is that
Oh
right
my god!
now?
Yeah, we're getting into that. Yeah, everybody kind of like veers off to do their own thing. to go look for help. Marcy goes off in this like paddle boat, and
Yeah, it's like, where the hell is she going?
and then the guys are walking around, wandering to other homes in the forest area, and they hear like a pig like whining, and then all of a sudden like in torturous pain, and then dead, and we get the privilege to see it, guys. It's so
We get a
It's
big butcher lady.
yeah, it's what movie making is made for, just to watch a pig be
Big butcher
Butchered.
Bertha.
Yep. And it's gross. Like she's
a funny character.
Yeah, it is not well handled. There's no like Food or Drug Administration coming out to see how she's handling her meat.
Oh.
And she's got blood all over her gloved hands, but she's touching her face and touching her clothes.
Is she
and
nasty?
she's talking about how the pig is bad. Like it's bad meat. She's not going to eat that meat.
She has them confused for, I guess, somebody who supplied her the pigs, or
like friend. Like she's
or
like,
people
you
that
must
work
be
for
friends
them.
of him.
Yeah. And they're like, we don't know this dude. We were just attacked. We need your help. And she's going to help them. But then they realize that the guy that attacked her is like her husband or something, or she knows him.
Yeah, it's her cousin.
Yeah, it's her cousin Henry.
They get invited inside, and they see like on the
picture.
mantle that it's a picture of Henry, and she's asking them like, oh, so you say you were attacked, and you say you beat somebody, but it couldn't have been Henry. He knows not to bother people out in the forest, but he just wanders around, and they're
Yeah.
immediately like, oh shit, it was him.
Henry.
So they get out of Dodge.
They want to get out of there.
They run off, and then the next time we see them, they somehow make it to the place that Marcy had taken the boat to. There's some kind of like traveling inconsistencies, like
Yeah.
I'm directionally challenged.
Well, yeah, she
in
takes
this
the boat
movie.
across the lake, and then she ends up finding Bert in them. And the whole geography is weird in this movie of this lake, and
Yeah.
like sometimes there's people around, other times they're having to row across the lake to find other people, you know. Or
And it's when she approaches that house right by the lake that we get the shot that pays homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
of her butt.
Walking up to the house, and it's an iconic shot in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And where are we at? Let me look at my little paper. Oh, yes.
Oh.
So Marcy meets up with Bert and Jeff in that house. They all go in that house. No one's there, but just the idea that they all three
Go in
feel
some
comfortable.
stranger's house. It's like, I get you're going through something right now, but if there's nobody there other than trying to use their phone, why are you guys all in the house?
And I'm sorry, but it's like out in the middle of nowhere. People got guns.
You're gonna get shot.
You're gonna get fucking shot coming into
This
somebody's
is North
house.
Carolina.
I believe they all have those stand your grounds in their fields. Back at the cabin, we've got sick Karen who's laying in bed, and then we have Paul. Paul is there's a knock on the door, and it is the deputy, which is this deputy is like some Deputy Winston. He looks like he is barely 18.
There's some of these weird characters that really just have no purpose being in other than just being like a goofy character. So it's like this cop comes in, and he's just like the party cop, uses his badge to like get girls.
Yeah.
But he has to go the next town over because he is a cop. Like, that kind of doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, he's like, when I myself party, because I'm a big partier, man. He's like, he's got a weird accent to him.
Yeah.
It's so much more like California guy than North Carolina.
Yeah. It doesn't quite make
it
sense.
fits, but yes, he's definitely like, yeah, I might be like a man of the law, but like, I'm cool.
Yeah, I know how to have fun, guys.
Yeah. Oh, you look like you know how to party too, man.
And he sees Karen, and he doesn't want to leave because of Karen being out there. But he finally leaves. He stops being annoying.
Tells them like, I'll get a tow truck out to you by tomorrow. You guys just keep partying. Oh, and he tells them like,
Go get a 40, Karen.
I'll put out like an alert for the guy wandering around, or a report like, we're not gonna have anybody messing with you while you're trying to party.
Yeah.
And then everybody like ends up back at the cabin, And we get Dr. Mambo showing up, and he's like super like pissed. He's like
barking. They're like, they scare him. Marcy comes out with a gun and scares him off, and then that leads Ryder Strong to go in and sexually assault his girlfriend.
Okay, this is like we don't even need to get too far into it, but there's like a weird.
She invites him into the bed, and then they're cuddled up sleeping. But then he wakes up from their nap and decides, like, I'm going to stick my hand down her pants.
Sleeping.
And
like,
she's asleep.
Clearly asleep, but I'm going to try to finger her without consent.
Luckily, he comes back to bite him.
Yes.
And almost, literally, because I'm not sure he got bit, but he does get, like, lots of nasty blood and, like, rotted off skin on his hand.
Yes. He... sees all that, and he's freaking out, and so he runs out, to like the living room area, but then all of them meet him in the hallway because obviously
they're all
they
screaming,
can hear him,
freaking out. Like, she starts freaking
Karen
out. She
is
wakes
like,
up and
God!
realizes that her vagina is falling off.
Yes.
I wonder too why it got her vagina first. Do you think because she drank the water and she peed it out, so it infected her vagina?
Yeah, I don't know, because like later when she does like die, her face is pretty eaten off. But okay, so anyways, she got, I mean, the reason why it has to happen to her vagina, Josh, is because that's what, like, because the filmmaker wanted it that way.
Yeah, right.
Like, he wanted a panty shot and for it to have that gross, like, oh, her vagina's gross.
Yeah.
Like, because men don't understand women's vaginas, so our vaginas just have to be gross, right?
Right.
Jeez. Okay.
So.
All right, so then everybody is freaking out. They tell her, like, bitch, shut the fuck up, stay in the room for a second, we gotta figure things out. So the four of them go in the living room, all stripped down to their
check each other's bodies.
Undergarments. They check each other's bodies for, like, lesions.
Which
and,
I'd be like, don't you need to check everybody's, like, balls and vaginas?
Yeah, no one's revealing tits and
they're
ass.
just, like, lifting up shirts and thighs.
Like, no, that, and of course, we see this in just a little bit, that's kind of like where it's all happening. Like, Bert pulls his shirt up and reveals by his boxers that he has like an infection and everything. So I don't know. Maybe
this is like It Follows before It Follows.
No, we're not getting.
Nowhere near as clever.
We're not giving him that. Okay, so, but she is really sick, and so they have decided that the best thing for them.
We're quarantining you in the shed.
Yeah, the best thing for them is that she is completely removed from the house and puts her in the shed. Now, mind you guys, we can't really tell what season it is, but I'll tell you this, it gets fucking cold outside at night, and they don't have any qualms about putting somebody that has a flesh-eating disease
outside
in the shed.
You know what? They at least give her a mattress and a blanket.
Mattress and a blanket, and they lock her in there with a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, that's so strange, too. And they also tell her, like, one of us will be out here with you at all times, which is not true.
That's not true at all. And they even kind of call themselves out on it because the dog comes back and is trying to get into the shed. And they're like, oh, well, somebody's going to be out here now. And they also, like, Marcy makes chili around this time.
Yeah, they're like, hey, Marcy made chili. I'm like,
that's
from what?
Gross.
Yeah, you guys have your skin rotting off. Why are you eating chili?
Not what I would be like. I'm sorry, read the room, Marcy. That's not the meal that anyone wants to eat right now. Is like lumped up meat.
Yeah, you need like a nice salad with maybe a good piece of chicken for protein.
Some, maybe some broccoli.
Some good antioxidants, some blackberries,
things
blueberries.
To break down.
Goodness.
Maybe some breads, carbs, because you guys are going to be, like, locked away for a while.
But Marcy's like, the only thing I know how to cook is chili, okay?
And when I say that, I mean, like, from the can. Here's the can. I put it in the saucepan. I heat it up. Chili. Oh, I'm going to sprinkle some onions and some cheese on top.
Oh, yeah, that's my kind of meal.
There we are.
But that's Marcy's kind of meal, too. And so, at some point, Jeff is about to flip out and leave, right?
Paul decides to take the paddle boat across to see if he can get help at that house, because He thinks maybe since it's a different time of day, the people might be back, and he's right.
They're back, and he's looking through the window, and there's like a naked lady.
And he doesn't stop looking through the window.
And
That's the thing.
Yeah, he's a pervert. He's like
There's not anything redeeming about this guy.
He's an assailant, and he's a peeping Tom.
Peeping Tom. He can't read hints.
But he gets caught by that lady's husband and almost gets his ass whooped. And he runs home, but it makes it seem like he gets home in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like there was no paddling back involved.
No, he's not even exhausted. Like when he walks in, they're all like, "Did you find anything?" Instead of saying, "Yeah, I found people that could help us, but I'm such a fucking creep that they scared me off." He just tells them like, "No, I didn't find anybody."
There's definitely like a cut missing. Like it should have gone because he runs off and he turns the corner. Then it cuts to him almost rounding a corner and he's back at the cabin. They needed like an insert shot of him like running to the boat or something right in the middle. Didn't even need to be a long shot.
Or him docking, like again, like just showing
something
that he had to
show like some progression of time.
Yes.
How it's cut right now, it seems like it's seamless.
Not a
like
beat missed.
Real time. Like he turns that corner and he's back. It's cut really weird. Not the best editing.
Okay, so during this time also they're trying to fix the truck because it's like not starting because they beat the shit out of it when that guy was trying to break in. So they themselves are trying to repair the truck. That morning, after they have tried to look for help and Paul lies and says there's nobody out there, that next morning Bert gets the truck to start. He's like, "All right, everybody, let's go." So Paul and Marcy go to get baby girl Karen,
she gets nasty sick again.
Her legs are looking
bleeding
like
all over.
She, I guess, made her own kind of foot coverings for herself. She has these like trash bags on her feet.
And then we also get Bert is getting sick. He lifts his shirt up and sees that mark on his stomach, and so he knows he only has a matter of time. So he's really wanting to get to help.
Yeah.
So even though the rest of them are like, "I'm going to stay here with with Karen," he's like, "Well, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to go get help."
They did try to put her in the car, and then she threw up everywhere. Yeah. So that's when Jeff is like, "Fuck it, I'm taking this beer and I'm going.
I'm leaving, and I'm not coming back."
And at first glance, like when you see this movie, you might be like, "Why the fuck is he taking the beer?" But he's already caught on to that, like, that's the reason why he hasn't gotten sick yet, is because he hasn't drank the water and he hasn't like been touching Karen. He's like starting to wear like a face covering. He grabs the beer and he leaves. Like Marcy's like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah, bitch, I'm fucking serious.
Like, I'm saving my life.
You guys are dumb. You're handling her. Like obviously you're gonna get sick." He's sick. He's talking about Bert because Bert, like you can see his teeth is bleeding
and so Bert's gone. Jeff's gone. Ryder Strong. What is Ryder Strong's character's name?
Paul
and Marcy are just sitting there chit-chatting. And this is when Marcy's like, "God, it's just like when you're going down on an airplane."
Oh my God, yeah, she recounts that time that her airplane crashed.
Yeah, she's like, "And all you think is, God, I want to fuck
the
right
person
now.
right next to me. Right before we crash."
So cut to another awkward sex scene where they're flopping around looking like they've never done it before. And then cut to, she's in the shower like, "God, Paul, you did a number on my back. My back's really red." Instead of thinking like, "Oh no, I probably have the skin-eating disease," it's got to be the not rough sex I just had with Paul.
Yeah, the not rough. Believe me, guys, there was no flop.
And he also like cleans his dick off with Listerine.
Because they don't use a condom. He mentions it like, "Oh, you don't use protection." She's all like, "I'm clean," which.
And so he cleans his dick with Listerine. I'm like, I'm not sure if that works, dude, but okay.
No.
All it's gonna do is burn your dick.
I mean, they're pretty much like they're all infected. Jeff's right. Like, you've all been handling this person. You all are just, everybody's gonna die. So now we get this is probably the iconic scene of the whole movie.
Marcy
the thing that, it's what's in countdowns. People know this scene.
She shaves her leg, and with each stroke, it gets worse and worse. Her leg is revealed, and we see nasty marks. They have blackened and bruised.
Ugh,
and
gross. And then there's pieces missing, and she continues to shave, which just is gross.
Which
but
is funny. I'm like,
I
well, how
don't-
long did it take you to put the lather on your legs? And then how long was that on before? I'm like, your legs weren't black before you put
No.
the cream on?
And I'm sorry, but girl, you were using the wrong razor and you knew it. Nobody in their right mind uses a 2-blade razor. No one. You don't do that. You just don't, girl. That's not taking good care of your legs. And so no wonder her legs get all tore up to the floor.
Yeah. And so with every stroke,
Stroke
she strokes her legs and
reveals like more of that flesh.
yeah,
eating,
and,
like,
and also she's
yeah.
starting to take pieces of her leg off with the razor. And what's funny, it's like it takes her a moment to notice this. I'm like, oh, this wasn't painfully
Not
like
evident.
this wasn't so painful. Like it took you a few times.
Yeah,
of-
you can't see it because she has it on her back too. Like the
Yeah.
same stuff is now happening. Like at first it was just like red finger marks on her back, but now you look at it again and it's like full on skin's missing.
So she throws on a robe and runs outside screaming. And the only thing this accomplishes is her getting eaten by Grimm's dog.
Dr. Mambo comes, he can hear
Mamba faced.
and Paul hears her screaming, hears the dog barking, knows there's like some kind of an animal attack happening. But by the time he gets there,
She's
all
tore
you
up.
see is like her foot and pieces of the robe and like some of her internal organs. And Karen, you can hear there's like some sound coming from the shed. And he
Yeah.
opens the door and it's the dog eating the stomach of Karen. And then he like rolls her over and
She's
her
still alive.
yeah, like it's sad.
She's got like a skeletal face, basically.
Yeah, like
with
it's
flesh attached.
teeth are all there.
Barely.
And, she's like breathing, but it's real slow. So he does what I hope.
He puts her out of her
Yeah.
misery. He grabs a shovel and beats her head in until she's dead.
Because
and he's getting covered in blood. I'm like, you're not worried about getting contaminated? Like, come on, dude.
he's not learning his lesson ever. And next, while he goes to look for, I guess
we
like
forgot about the other most iconic scene with Bert.
No, we're getting there.
Okay.
So while Paul goes to the reservoir to try to find out like what's really going on, he sees that there's the body of
and he falls on it.
Yeah, he's trying to like fish it out of it, and instead the ladder breaks and he falls in. So if he wasn't contaminated before, that's for sure.
Oh, it's so gross.
So now we cut to Bert. He's trying to find help in town. He goes back to the general store. Tell us what happens, Josh.
So he gets out, and there's Dennis with the sign saying "Do not sit next to Dennis." And Dennis, kind of out of nowhere, starts screaming pancakes.
Pancakes!
Pancakes! Pancakes!
And then proceeds
I'm like, dude,
to...
I get it too. I love myself some pancakes.
Yeah, Bert's all like, pancakes? What?
But
Pancakes?
Pancakes have never led me to doing like awesome kung fu like little Dennis does.
Slow-mo kung fu.
Yeah, Dennis gets up and starts kicking and a shaking and a flipping.
And it's like choreographed. It is.
I read, apparently, a little trivia fact is that actor was in like jiu-jitsu or taekwondo or karate. I'm not sure which martial arts he was taking. But he was really good at it and was showing Eli Roth. And so Eli was like, let's put this in the movie. And gave him his time to shine with his...
Goodness. I am sure that...
So it's that little kid doing all those little like karate... You know, I'm not even, I don't want to say karate kicks. I'm not sure if it is karate.
Martial art moves.
Yeah, all those badass martial art moves. But yeah, it's hilarious. And then he runs up to Bert and bites his hand. and
so,
realizes he's been infected.
Yeah, like, because it tastes weird or something. And, like, the dad is like, well, if you've been... Well, and also Bert is like, no, your kid... I'm infected. Like, there's something happening at our cabin.
And the dad's like, what? You're not really a pancake? Get out of here!
If you've infected my son, even if it was accidental, even if he bit you, that's almost like murder. Because you knew you were, and you shouldn't... I don't even get it.
And Bert's like
how
fuck you, dude, and like gets in the truck and leaves.
Yeah.
And Dad is like, hey, that guy wasn't a pancake. Let's go kill him. And he
calls his friends on.
calls his other little hillbilly friends or brothers or brother fathers. I'm not sure what
Cousin
they
brothers,
are.
cousin
brother.
well, the cousin, father cousins, whatever. And it's like, all right, let's go get him. So then we kind of have this like chase down like scene.
It's
He's
the
in
Bubbas
truck
versus Bart.
Yeah, and Bert finally.
I said Bart.
Yeah, I know.
Bert.
That's why I followed it up
Bubba's
with Bert.
versus Bert.
I followed it up with Bert. And so now we get Bert, and he is showing up back at the cabin, and Paul's like, what the fuck? Like,
He's been fucked up at this point.
And he's like, no, I got people on my tail. So then they, like, set up for basically attack mode so that when the hillbilly guys show up at the cabin, they'll be ready for them.
But Bert wasn't that ready because they knock on the door and they open it, and Bert gets like shot immediately, right?
Well, they eat each. Like Bert gets shot as he shoots the first person that walks in, and then
that person
basically
shoots.
it's kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah.
Like that person then accidentally shoots another person, and then Ryder Strong Paul character, he takes like a screwdriver and gets somebody, and then he
screws him.
Yeah, basically all the hillbilly guys die.
Yeah. And then Paul's on the run. Like, he's like, all right, I got to get out of here now. And he, stumbles first upon that party?
Yeah, he does. He's, like, in the forest, and he comes upon a party that's in the woods, but it's a weird party. It's, like, just some people, like, playing acoustic guitar.
And the geography of this movie, it's like, where is all this stuff happening?
And how come they can't hear other things? Like,
how
come the lady who doesn't seem but a stone's throw away, who kills the pig, how come she can't hear any of the gunshots that go off? Or
like everybody's so close but yet so far from each other.
Yeah, I don't really understand it. It doesn't make much sense. And then so Paul stumbles upon that party, and they're all like, what? He's all covered in blood. Like, everybody's just kind of...
And that cop is there all like, bro, what's up, bro?
And like, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to send the tow truck to you. And then he gets a radio in from another sheriff telling him, like, those kids at the cabin are up to no good, and they're killing each other.
They're infected. If you see one of them, shoot them without question.
But our Winston, he's taken a shining to
And he's also
Paul.
like, oh man, my gun's not even out here. I can't shoot you now.
Yeah, I'm not really, like, I'm drinking on the job, not doing what I'm saying. Because he was supposed to be looking for the underage party.
Yeah.
And when he answers
the
walkie, he's all like, sorry, I still haven't found the underage party.
And then apparently he's a creepy cop trying to get into like an underage girl's pants.
Yeah, it's just like,
because he's all like, I like your hair.
Yeah, your hair's real pretty.
And it's actually like really stringy and not that cute. But
yeah, well,
you can tell she hasn't brushed it all day.
No, it's like one of those, like, he's reaching to give a compliment because he wants to get some pussy, as he says.
Yeah.
As he says, he gets pussy. I doubt he does, guys. Believe me.
Pussy.
I'm sorry, but any guy walking around talking about all the pussy he gets doesn't get any pussy at all.
No. So a fight breaks out because the other guys are like, all right, the cop's not going to do anything. We're going to fuck him up. But then they end up fucking each other up, and he ends up knocking Winston out. But
there's a guy that even sucks in a harmonica. Do you see? Like that part? He's all choking on the harmonica. How does that happen? How do you choke on a harmonica? It's huge.
I don't think it does happen.
No, it's just supposed to be for like a weird I don't know. Yeah,
funny.
It's like, I get that a little bit of it might be like, oh, here's my like touch of Evil Dead. Like I don't know.
Well, I feel like they are going for like that Scream or like Evil Dead kind of vibe where it's mixing. Especially like the original Evil Dead, where it's like real horror with like,
some
comedy
funny slaps, yeah.
But it's not really funny. Like there's no real jokes or any cleverness. It's all like,
It just falls flat
fart
in its
jokes.
one note. Like, yeah, there's not really a lot of dimension. But we can get into that in the second part. We're not even done yet. Okay, so
Paul gets out of there.
Yeah, we got Paul escaping from a weird party situation, and then he stumbles.
He steals a car then, right?
He steals the cop car for like 2 seconds or
and
whatever.
Hits a deer.
He
has like these little deer legs flailing in his face.
That's just an excuse for more blood to happen,
it's
honestly.
I kind of
it
like
is.
it in a
No, know, it's funny.
Really, because you don't really see the deer after he hits it. You just see like legs.
The legs.
Like
and
flopping
you can
around.
kind of imagine that like some people have probably had to deal with that.
Something like that, yeah.
Like,
so then he gets out of the car and runs a little bit and then passes out.
yeah,
in
and
the
a
street.
semi comes to his aid, and next we see of him,
they
he's
say
in the hospital.
The truckers are the backbone of this country. And
They do. They stop for people.
Came in clutch.
They save lives.
Do people still,
often.
does Gen Z still say clutch?
No. No,
They
past
come
that
in
now.
handy. Do people say handy?
Well, I think like they would say they're gas. Like Gen Z would call like truckers like gas, like they're good, like it's like
they're the goat.
Yeah, like they're just you fix it, guys. If you hear it and you're like, nope, these two millennials are fucking it up. The other day, I heard a Gen Zer saying something about that, saying something gas, and it was supposed to be like, that's incredible, because then they had to tell me what that meant.
I'm like, gas stinks. Like,
exactly.
fart gas.
That's what I
good?
thought. I was like, well, but any gas is usually like stinky, and they were like, no, it's just good. Like, it's great.
That's
gas.
so stupid.
Yeah, I don't
Stupid.
understand it. They're just
That's trying really hard.
Is it, or
Yeah.
are we trying?
No, gas. Like it's.
I don't know.
No, that's stupid. It doesn't even like. What?
Yeah. Anyway.
You're like you're what?
What?
You're gas.
But it's hashtag trending. So, okay, so Paul is now at the hospital, and the thing is that the sheriff that's there, basically, like, the town doesn't take too kindly to all of the ruckus that
nobody
they have
likes
caused.
that. There's this one cabin there, I guess. They don't like the outside.
Why don't they just burn that cabin down? Because, they are not pleased at all of the commotion that Paul and his friends brought to the town. Because obviously, like, now they have, like, 3 people that are dead on top of
and
the
Paul's,
outsiders
like,
that are
hallucinating
dead.
and seeing, like, giant bunnies. Like, all of a sudden, it's, like, Donnie Darko.
It's strange.
Up in here.
It's there's
Frank,
so many
the bunny
different,
shows
like,
up.
pulls from other, you're just like, okay, I get it. You
And
wanted to
then
throw that in there.
It's almost like they're gonna kill Paul? They send him off with...
Well, Winston comes to pick him up and take him. Everybody is giving each other, like, the looks, like,
Like,
we'll
we gotta
take him
get
to
him
the
out
other
of
town.
here. Yeah.
No, it's fine. We'll get him to where he needs to go. Have my guy do it.
Yeah.
And all that okay. And then our last couple of shots is
Jeff.
Yeah, he crawls out of a cave.
Oh, we do need to mention, at one point when Paul is running around, he did find Grim dead.
Yes, and in the cave that we see, Jeff. I mean, that's what I'm. Jeff, which means that Jeff was in that cave, and he wasn't going to he wasn't going to show Paul that he was in there.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, nah, Paul's done. He's like fucking dead. So Jeff goes back to the cabin, and he's like celebrating. Basically, he's like, I made it, I did it, I'm a survivor. And he walks out like survivors do, whipping his hair.
He is so proud of himself. He's like, I am the final boy. I'm the sole survivor.
Here I am. And then he gets shot multiple times by the sheriffs that are waiting outside the cabin because they know that there's like one more person to get. And I can't decide if this one is like, and I couldn't find anything for it, like if this was supposed to be like a Night of the Living Dead kind of reference.
I kind of take it as that, like, the survivor, the person.
Like the last one ends up being shot, even though, like, I don't mind that this guy gets shot, believe
Jeff.
me.
I guess out of all the guys, Jeff's the most decent.
Yeah,
like, he at least didn't, like,
he
sexually
does
assault anybody.
And he's really...
I'm sure he said something was either... They use the R word a lot.
No, I don't think he did. I think, like, he does say the N word, but he was asking the question. But that does not mean that that's okay by any means. It's just, like, also just terrible writing. I don't know. Maybe my hope is that actor was like, I don't really want to say this word, but then, who knows? And the reason why I bring that up is because I did read about Marcy's character. So that actress also was in Not Another Teen Movie, and she was completely nude. She played the completely nude character, and that movie is all about tropes. Like, it's all about, like, it's a spoof movie, but Eli Roth really wanted her to be nude in multiple scenes.
She didn't want to.
No, she so there was some pushback on it, and I don't know, and the things I was reading wasn't really taking too kindly to it, or just at least was pissed that she just wouldn't do it, and was like, why? She was nude in another movie, which, whatever. So, okay.
Well, pay her more then.
Clap, clap, here we go. But the last scene is the one that tries to make up for the N-word being said.
Yeah, we cut back to the shop, the general store where Dennis and everybody is, and we have the hillbilly guy that said his gun is for the N-words. And we have a black family that comes into the store, and at first, I guess the whole joke is you're supposed to be like, oh no, he's gonna shoot him. And he even gets the gun down.
And he skitters off, like, when he sees the family walking up to the general store. And everything is framed to make you think that he is going to shoot this family when they walk in.
Yeah.
There isn't anything in my mind that is, like, thinking anything else.
Well, and mind you, earlier, he used a hard R when he said this
Yes,
word.
like...
And then we cut to, that family walks in. And he runs off, comes back with the gun. You think maybe he's going to shoot him. And then he's like, here you go, my...
Yeah, and they're all saying...
Yeah, they're all like, hey. Yeah, they're all...
It's all said again. And it's just, I don't know.
It's supposed to be like, oh, these are his...
Friends.
Like, they're saying it with the AS now at the end to each other. I'm like, no, that's not what he said earlier.
No, it's not.
And even if he had said it with an A sound at the end, that doesn't make it okay.
No.
I don't know. It's just really awkward. It's really outdated.
It is. I am.
And for the movie to end like that, and to begin like that, and then have all this... And we're not even, like, cancel culture people either, but
No.
this movie is cringy.
Yes.
When it comes to the things that are said by characters so nonchalantly. But,
and when there's not, like, this movie isn't trying to touch on,
race.
like, race. This is not
being able-bodied, or, whatever. Like, it's not trying to touch on any of that kind of stuff, but they just want to use the words and use it all as insults.
Yes, and that is the big point, is that it's all derogatory, and it's all, like, the worst until... And it's actually not until the very end, because it doesn't make up for it, but it is this, like, last-ditch effort to be like, no, we weren't meaning it in a...
I think Eli Roth thought he was really fucking clever, and it's really not.
It's not clever.
And I bet he watches it now, and I hope he cringes himself, or is like, man, I wish I could re-edit some of this. Like, I hope he sees it now and realizes, like, yeah, this is shitty. But I'm like, again, this is 2002. Moods and tolerances were way different. You could get away with this shit because that was how a lot of people felt, I guess, 20 years ago. Like that, it would just people didn't even bat an eye to a lot of the language. I'm sure.
I'm glad we're moving on, and
we're moving on. We're getting
we
close.
Are for sure.
We'll come back in just a little bit, and we'll talk about our favorite scenes. We'll talk about the movie. Do knife ratings.
Yeah, but we've got to mention, though, that the truck that drives off with the drinking water, it says on it, like, down home spring water, and pulls off, so you know, like, they're wanting to build a franchise off this.
And even just, like, even if not, it's like, oh, the rest of the world's about to get contaminated.
Yes,
and it's going to spread from this little town.
But we're going to a little town, and we are going to be very aware of the water that we drink.
We're going to be in a hot tub.
Yes.
Like, we better not get infected by anything crazy.
Oh, knock on wood. We don't have any wood to knock on right now.
Shit.
Damn it, Josh!
All right, but we'll be right back after this music from Bad Athlete.
That's right. Bye!
Flowing through another daydream, something through fading and sleep. Wake up, I just wanna go home. I may be shaking inside, I'm not the kind to run and hide. Come out, I'll take you all on my own.
singing because we are so relaxed and rejuvenated from a 3-day cabin stay.
3-day cabin stay. 3-day cabin stay. 3-day cabin stay. One more time. One more time. One more time. One more time. That's right. That's right. Cabin stay. Cabin stay. Cabin stay. Cabin stay. Okay.
So, in case you didn't notice, we really enjoyed our time during our 3-day cabin stay.
3-day cabin stay was
Hutchatown.
more than okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
we're in Oklahoma. We were in Hutchatown.
Which, like we told you earlier, is the southeast kind of corner of Oklahoma. There are some, nice little mountains. Not anything compared to the Appalachians or the Rockies, but, we got a little something down here.
I mean, I'm not gonna complain. We've got some elevation. We got elevated. We did elevated things.
We did some hiking.
Mhm.
We did some brewery intaking.
Yes, we had some
Made some
little
new
local
friends.
coffee shop. Yeah, we did a lot of hot tubbing.
Ate at the Grateful Head, which is like the best pizza.
Ugh, so nom.
And tons of hot tubbing.
Hot tub. Did you say 3-day cabin stay? Hot tub day?
Yes. We did a 1,000-piece puzzle, a Pee Wee Herman puzzle.
Oh my, no, actually, we did a 999
Guys,
puzzle.
we were missing a piece. We couldn't find it anywhere on the
And
floor. We moved furniture around.
Even.
We were on our hands and knees looking for things
Stop,
with our
I'm dead.
flashlights.
I'm over it.
So
Can't talk about it anymore. We did a 999 piece puzzle because one piece sprouted out legs and walked the fuck away.
guys, we couldn't find it anywhere.
We look like there is no way that it went anywhere else.
It really has me pressed.
Oh shit. Pressure. You feeling pressure?
Yeah.
You got that pressure that'll drip, drip, drop.
But other than that, it was great. It was satisfying completing the puzzle. It's just a shame there was one glaring piece missing in the middle.
And we knew exactly like what it needed to look like.
We knew it was missing too before we even finished it because of how we had color coordinated the 1,000 pieces. And we knew that there shouldn't be any of this one color left.
Nope.
Yeah.
Out of color.
And there wasn't, and
there
we needed one more. I guess that's really what it was. We needed one more color, and there was no more of that
There
color.
wasn't any more of that color.
We had one more, no more.
We had no more of what the one more color was that we needed. What else did we do? Oh yeah, we did had some drinks, had some brews, had some coffee. We made some friends at the brewery. That was really nice.
Petted the dog.
Yes. Yes!
Took a picture with a dog.
Puppy, love puppy.
We
love puppy.
We went hiking in Beaver's Bend. Did a nice, 2 mile and a half
we did
hike.
the
It was very leisurely.
Tree Trail and the Beaver Creek Trail, and we went up in a Beaver Creek crack.
A beaver crack.
There was a bend
He lifted his little tail.
in the crack.
His little flat tail that he likes to mud.
No, there were no beavers though. That was a little like, excuse me.
Maybe they're hibernating
we're on
right
the
now.
Beaver Bend, but where's your beaver?
It is winter. Maybe
How
they're...
come you're not showing me your beaver?
I don't show my beaver to just everybody.
Oh. I mean, you show it around a lot. I know that. Okay. Anyways, we also watched a bunch of Seinfeld while we did a lot of cooking inside.
Guys, it was on in the background most of the time when we were doing stuff or working on our puzzle. We covered over we did 2 full seasons.
Yeah.
We watched seasons 4 and 5 and then got through several episodes of 6.
Yeah.
The show's just genius.
It is, and it was just made for good background, while you're doing your puzzle, while we're making cocktails, while we're cooking breakfast. We had cocktails at breakfast apparently, but no, just anytime we were doing anything. We did a lot of porch time. We'd have our coffee on the porch every morning.
Lots of hot tubbing time, and we did not seem to catch a skin-infecting disease.
No, we were submerged so much in different bodies of water, yet here we are.
I mean, we even tried, just so we would have something exciting to talk about with you guys, but...
Josh even tried to give himself one at one point in the hot tub. He was scratching himself, and he was like, sorry, I'm just over here really trying to get some kind of flesh-eating something to bring it, to make it
full
meta,
circle.
Yeah. To just, what is it when you're an actor and you go full-blown into full-blown?
When you go full-blown, Do you have full-blown actors?
Yeah, you've got like full
The
blown.
method.
Yeah, method acting. Yeah, you were trying to be like Method Man. Okay.
But yeah.
Let's get into
Cabin fever.
the fever of cabin. Josh, do you have a fever? Do you have
I
a
don't. I feel
fever
great
in
right
cabin?
now.
No.
But the cabin was giving us. Okay, I couldn't make that work.
No.
I was trying to make fever and cabin, you know, like, oh, it's giving me the fever. But I couldn't make it work.
It's not okay. Yeah. I guess like if I could scale the fever of the movie, it would be very room temperature. But I must say, cabin fever to me is like you are all hanging out together. You're having to like, you know, where is the cabin fever, I guess is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
they have this flesh-eating disease. That's not cabin fever. Cabin fever is kind of very specific, like you're hunkered down in a cabin with people. That's all that you've been around for a while. You're like dying to get out.
But I guess it gives you some of that. They're stuck there. They can't get out. They're with all these people they hate. They're going crazy because their friends are, like, rotting. And,
Their friends are rotting.
The thing, you know, in a way, it's kind of a fun throwback, this movie. But instead of, you know, a bunch of pretty young people at a cabin in the woods and a mass killer, the killer is like this thing you don't see, this flesh-eating bacteria that gets in through the water.
Gets in your butt.
It gets in your butt if you clean your butt. Yeah.
If you clean your butt, it gets in your butt?
Well, some
or
people don't, which is
or are you
nasty.
saying you need to clean your butt in order for it to
I'm not talking butt cleaning. You
Okay.
brought up butts. I was just agreeing with you, like, yeah, if it gets up in your butt, you get in that butt
cabin
rot.
fever, butt rot?
Cabin fever, butt rot. But,
That would have made for a really interesting movie, like if all of their butts rotted off.
well, remember,
If that was
it's
the
like
telltale. Their genital area.
their privets, kind of.
their precious moments down
their
there.
precious moments down there kind of rot off first, so.
Well, and then you have, you know, baby girl Marcy, who's having like, I don't know. She's
a weird
having,
sexual / existential crisis.
Yeah, that whole little.
God, this thing get fucked.
Yeah, or that just like back and forth of them like coming to terms with the fact that they probably are going to get infected. And so her like, it's like that time when I was on an airplane and we were plummeting down to the ground and I just wanted to fuck this person next, because isn't that just what you want to do when your plane's going down? You just want to do that.
Just want to sit on a date.
Just want to just like do it real hard on someone and then but not, and us have weird floppy fish sex.
Yeah.
Like I'm so confused by that choice anyways.
Yeah.
I thought they had relationships going on with others.
Alright, well, let's just jump on into it.
Oh, we full on
Do you want me to
jumped in.
start? Or you want to start?
Do you want me to give my knife reading, Josh? Is that
we
what
do
you're
favorite scenes
asking?
first,
Okay,
so.
well, what's my favorite scene? I guess my favorite scene is gonna be probably when Bert shows up and they like kind of stage him being in the door, and that you know, him just going out to the town, that whole little like the townspeople coming for him. I like that. That's like,
well, the best part of the movie
suspenseful,
is
like
pancake!
pancake.
The weird like ninja flipping. And,
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
I love all of that.
it's like one of the greatest scenes of all time. You know,
the
cinema
two
history.
general store like confrontations that they have. That's my more favorite.
There
is the
is
second one.
the,
Dennis and Pancake.
There's the Rosebud reveal in Citizen Kane, and then there's Pancake in Cabin Fever. So, I think you're right to pick that.
Okay, well, thank you. I love that it's like one of the only like chase scenes that's in the movie is Bert getting chased down by these local folks that don't take too kindly to getting infected and fucked. Poor
And yeah,
Dennis, though, like, he was right in the middle of giving his all in that pancake moment, you know, and he had the most beautifully articulated martial arts skills, and then to bite into what, I don't even know what that would have tasted like, but he immediately drew back. He knew, like, he was infected.
He was infected.
So he'd never again dance like that.
Damn.
Like, that was him hitting his peak because, I mean, he's gonna, like, his skin's gonna rot off in like a day and a half now.
Yeah.
Poor Dennis.
Yes.
What's your favorite scene?
Oh, the
Mr.
part that really just
Butt
grosses
rot Josh.
the part that really grosses me out the most and kind of like stays with me is when he falls on the dead body, the infected body in the water.
Gross, yeah.
Something about that just gives me the creepy crawlies. But I'm with you. I love pancake scene. That's kind of like the best scene in the movie is pancake. But gore wise, I mean, I'm not sure you can pick like the weird like finger banging while she's sleeping scene. The shaving is kind of overdone at this point. I guess I like, when he has to put her out of her misery.
Oh.
And then you get that jump scare later when he's thinking about like an idyllic time with her, and then it like flash cuts to her rotting face.
Her rotting
skeletal
face is good.
Yeah, that's that kind of stuff's my favorite. I do appreciate, like I mentioned earlier, all the throwbacks, like the guy at the store that's kind of ominous. It's somewhat. I mean, he doesn't flat out tell them not to go to the cabin, but there's always those characters in a horror movie. You almost have like the little kid from Deliverance there.
The scenes with Winston in them, the deputy, are like I don't know, they're just very cringy in a way, and so I don't look forward to when those pop on the screen. Like, yeah, man, you're a party man. Yeah, party
dude.
town. Like,
It's almost like it feels like a really bad like oh god, what's the word?
I'm in a party town, man.
It almost reminds me of like the kind of humor from the early 2000s, like White Castle or like the Broken Lizards, but it just doesn't like work.
Yeah.
It's
like, are you high? What's going on? You're the police officer. Like,
Yeah.
Are you trying to hit on this underage girl? Yes, you're gross. Like,
I also
ew.
like how they use the old music from like Last House on the Left. I
Yes.
believe some of it's from other horror movies too, but I know specifically there's some Last House on the Left songs. So
Yes, and that David Hess guy did songs for this. That's from Last House on the Left. Oh my goodness, we're like having to pass by this bull. It just caught me by surprise. It was an iron bull. It's not real.
She thought
but it took
we
me
were
by
in
surprise.
Spain and
That's
running with the
jerked
bulls.
at me.
She thought we were about to run with the bulls. But yeah, so kind of moving into our knife rating. Seeing that it's a first-time movie and it has some kind of, like, I'm gonna be a little generous and say 2.5 knives.
Okay.
Not stars. We don't do stars. In fact,
We're
we
not
do
starring
knives.
anything. We're stabbing.
Edgy. We're edgy. We do knives. Okay.
Stab, like we go. Wow. I guess so. 2.5 for you. Okay, I'll give it 2.5.
Oh, I swayed you.
Yeah,
That's
you kind of
good.
swayed me. Well, there are moments in it that are
It's not a complete
decent.
bust.
Yeah, it's not like it's not the worst movie that's ever been.
No,
the worst
it's
horror
just
movie that's ever been
it's
made, but-
weirdly offensive and not terribly scary. It does try to flesh out characters, and you does stick with them for a while at the beginning before anything happens. It's not necessarily characters you like, but maybe that's the
Yeah.
point. Maybe you're supposed
Tries
to
to
get
round
some
them out a little bit.
glee out of watching them get killed.
Yeah, a little bit of satisfaction. Yeah, it's Bert, who's just super not, like, he's not redeemable. Like, he just makes a lot of poor choices.
Yeah, well, he gets
And
shot.
he gets his little come up. It's,
Yep.
oh man, we're having go through this weird little downtown right now. We timed it strangely, and we're having to go through this city. It's a downtown.
It's fine. It's probably making the audio nice and quiet.
Yeah, but we're
Or
about
the
to go
road
over
noise
this
nice and
railroad.
quiet. But yeah, so 2.5s across the
2.5.
board from us.
It's for me. I want 2 stabs, clear ins and outs, and then I want a little tip.
And after watching it a couple times for the podcast just to prepare, I won't watch this for a long time. There's no point.
Yeah, so maybe when we revisit it again in 20 years, basically,
Yeah.
we'll look at it and say oh, okay, I like
Maybe
what
we'll
they
have
did
more
there with
nostalgia.
it. Yeah. Okay, what's next up for us? Where are we going?
Well, we are heading to Nevada next month, guys. we are going to go to this bulldozing play place.
Yes.
Where you get to have control of a bulldozer and you just crash things and move dirt and just have fun. And we're going to be covering Stephen King.
It's called Dig It.
Dig It, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll be covering Stephen King's only directorial movies ever directed.
Yeah.
Maximum
Overdrive. We're going to be like talking about like big old ass trucks and shits, and we're going to be smashing shits.
We're going to be smashing stuff. We're going to smash it.
It's going to be real like tough adrenaline. Yeah, maximum.
So we have that. We're heading west to Nevada.
Yeah, that'll be a nice drive. And we're going to go see my sister. She lives in Las Vegas, so we'll pop in and see.
So we'll be in the Vegas area. We just didn't want to call it like a Vegas show because we're not doing like any strip stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not stripping.
No, well, you
We're
are
not going
stripping,
to the strip.
but
Well,
we're not going to do that on the strip.
Yeah,
He
we're
has
not
his
gonna-
own show.
We're not gonna make a podcast about it or anything.
No, but we'll share that little tidbit.
But yeah, we have that to look forward to. I'm actually really excited for this next
Yeah,
trip.
that'll be a
So,
nice long little drive.
we got nice and rejuvenated here, and now we're gonna go have fun. But guys, don't forget to go and rate us that 5 stars and review us. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all the places. We're on everything.
We love you, love us, love you. I want to love you.
And we will see you soon.
Yes, take care.
Bye.
And out with Bad Athlete.